Shyami devam stava devadehe sarvam stata bhuta vishesha sanghan brahmanamisham kamalasanastam rishimscha sarvan muragamsta divya aneka bahudara vaktra netram pashyavitvam sarvato nantarupam nantam na madhyam na punastavadim pashyami vishveshwara vishwarupa nabhasprisham deeptam aneka varnam vyaktaranam deepta vishalanetram Tritim na vindami shamancha Vishnu. Akhyahi me ko bhavan ugrarupaha. Namostute deva vara prasida. Vijñātu vichhami bhavantamadhyam. Nahi prajanami tava pravritti. This is Arjuna's 13th question. We have been relishing a series of questions posed by Arjuna in the glorious Samvada between Gitacharya and Partha. And we have reached Arjuna's 13th question. Another very interesting question, which possibly would also provoke us in asking, why did he ask such a question? And it comes right in the context of the glorious Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga. Akhyahi me ko bhavan ugrarupaha. Akhyahi me, hey Krishna, Akhyahi me, explain to me, please tell me, Akhyahi me, ko bhavan, who are you? A very, very interesting question. Arjuna is looking at Krishna and asking him, ko bhavan, who are you? Akhyahi me, ko bhavan ugrarupaha. Ugrarupaha, the one who possesses a fierce form. Ugrarupaha. Namostute devavara prasida. Namostute, prostrations to you. Salutations to you. Devavara, the foremost, the Lord of all the Devatas. Devavara prasida. Be gracious to me. Vijñātu michhami bhavantamadhyam. I'm very keen to know. I'm very keen to know bhavantam adhyam. You, the primal one, the foremost, the cause of all causes, the very origin. Adhyam, bhavantamadhyam. Vijñātu michhami. I'm keen to know, keen to understand. Nahi prajanami tava pravrittim. Now, there is something very interesting in the way Arjuna is addressing here Krishna. Ko bhavan, who are you? Until now, Arjuna has been addressing Krishna by only using the word tvam. The beauty of Sanskrit is that the word you, when it is used as tvam, when it is used as tvam, it is a general usage. But when it is used, when one says bhavan, then the you, there is a respectful you. There is respect added. You know, it is like you pick up a phone. Somebody talks, hey, kaun hai tu? And then it happens to be your boss. He said, kya chahiye aapko? Main kya kar sakta hu ji? Aapko kya kar sakta? Ah, suddenly the two becomes aap. Respectful you. So now Arjuna, all of a sudden, until now, this is the first time Arjuna is using bhavan. Until now, it has always been tvam. Respectful you. Who are you? Respectfully, Arjuna is asking, who are you? Why is asking Arjuna this question? Who are you? Akyahi me ko bhavan ugra rupaha. He says, Vijñātum ichchami. Now, Arjuna already is addressing him as Devavara. You are the foremost of the Devatas. You are the Lord of all. And you are also the Adyam. You are the origin. You are the cause. He's already saying so, but still he is asking, who are you? It's like on the one hand, it seems as though he knows, but on the other hand, he also doesn't know. It looks like Arjuna is saying, hey Krishna, I know you until now, but there is something about you maybe I do not know. The very fact that he's saying, Vijñātum ichchami, means there is something he still is not sure of. And Arjuna says, who are you? Now he's actually meaning, not just who are you, what are you doing? What is the purpose of your action? I do not comprehend your action, the nature of your action. Nahi prajanami tava pravritti. I do not comprehend the nature of your actions. Whatever you're doing, whatever I'm seeing, nahi prajanami. I'm unable to comprehend what is going on. Until now, I only thought you are the benevolent one. But somehow now I'm unable to comprehend the kind of activity that is being presented to me as part of Vishwarupa. So interestingly, this question also brings to the context Krishna's compassion. Arjuna made only one request. Arjuna requested Krishna for the vision of the Aishwaram Rupam, the lordly form, the Vishwarupa. Arjuna wanted to see Bhagavan's Rupa and Swarupa, his Aishwaram Rupam. So Krishna has given Arjuna now a bonus. He's giving something more than what Arjuna actually asked for. Arjuna wanted to see Krishna's Vishwarupa. And Krishna always throughout the Gita ensures that wherever they go in the flow of the discussion, Krishna ensures to bring Arjuna back to the central topic. What is the duty? What should Arjuna do? We see repeatedly throughout the Gita, Krishna always ensures that he brings Arjuna back to the central topic of the Gita. The purpose of the samvada between Arjuna and Krishna, the purpose is to enable Arjuna make the choice of engaging in the war, to do his duty. So Krishna ensures that Arjuna is brought back to focus on the duty that he has to perform. Krishna reveals the happenings on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The Kauravas are going to face the consequences of their own misdeeds. The Kauravas are heading towards death and destruction, which are the consequences of their own misdeeds. And the supporters of the Kauravas are also going to face their karmic consequences. The message to Arjuna is, you can only participate and you cannot stop. You cannot save the Kauravas and their supporters from their karmic consequences. And therefore, Krishna here is giving complete guidance to Arjuna. More than just giving him what he asked for, Krishna is giving him what he needs. This is the bonus. As Gita Charya, Krishna knows the student requires to be given not just what he asks for, but he needs to be given what is actually needed. So therefore, Krishna reveals that facet of his Vishwarupa which provides this answer to Arjuna. Now, Arjuna, looking at Krishna, he has been glorifying the Vishwarupa so far. He has been glorifying the Vishwarupa and experiencing the exhilarating vision. Now, all of a sudden, he is presented with a facet of the form which is completely unexpected. Now, Krishna has already identified the vision. Arjuna has already identified the vision, but still he ends up asking, Ko Bhavan, who are you? He is asking for the identity of the vision that he has already identified. Why is Arjuna doing it? It's not as though he doesn't know the identity. He knows. He's already identified that vision. But still he ends up asking because he sees something which is not expected. He sees something which he is not asked for. Arjuna looks at Krishna and asks for his form that pervades his universe, that pervades space. Krishna ends up also revealing the form that not only pervades space, but also pervades time. This is what Arjuna was not expecting. As part of his Vishwarupa, Krishna presents his Kala Rupa. Krishna's manifestation as time. Krishna's manifestation is Kala. And as part of this vision of Kala Rupa, Arjuna gets to see the past, the present, and the future. Bahuni Adrishta Purvani, Krishna said, I'm going to show you what has never been seen before. Which means, hey Arjuna, I'm going to reveal the results of the Kurukshetra war. You are going to see the results of the Kurukshetra war, the devastation, the destruction that is going to happen. So therefore, as part of the Kala Rupa, Arjuna also is seeing the destruction that is happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Obviously, when the future has to be shown to Arjuna, Arjuna also has to be presented with all the destruction and the devastation that is going to ensue on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The soldiers have not assembled on the Kurukshetra to exchange roses. There is going to be war, means destruction and devastation. So therefore, Arjuna sees a ghastly vision which he was not expecting. And that is the reason why this ghastly vision of Bhagavan then prompts him to ask this question, who are you? Ko Bhavan? Ko Bhavan Ugra Rupa, he asks. Arjuna was not expecting to see any kind of destruction. Arjuna was not aware that destruction, after all, is the other side of construction. Destruction and creation are two sides of the same coin. For every creation to happen, it needs to be preceded by destruction. Destruction and creation are cyclical in nature. While creation is a process of the subtle manifesting as gross, destruction is a process of the gross becoming subtle. It's just change of forms which differentiate destruction and creation. Arjuna sees all the soldiers on the battlefield being punished. Now he doesn't understand that punishment, when Bhagavan administers punishment, the punishment administered is based on the wrongdoings of every individual. But we also need to understand Bhagavan's administration of punishment, not just as a judge administering punishment to a wrongdoer. It's much more than that. Punishment and pain are like a cure to our spiritual amnesia. Punishment and pain are like a cure to our spiritual amnesia. It is basically a pointer from the temporary to the eternal. When we say Bhagavan destroys, this destruction is nothing but resurrection. His destruction is restoration. He destroys the temporary to make way for the eternal. He destroys the temporary to make way for the eternal. So the destruction and the devastation in the material world is a pointer to the eternal Bhagavan, who administers, orchestrates destruction and creation in cycles in this material world in order to constantly remind us of the temporary nature of this material world. So therefore, Arjuna looks at this ghastly form, a very unique facet of the Vishwarupa, and then asks, Hey Bhagavan, who are you? Ko Bhavan Ugrarupaha. The context of the question is very interesting. Just before this question, Arjuna begins to glorify the Vishwarupa. Natumam shakyase drashtum anenaiva chakshusha divyam dadamite chakshu pashyame yogamaishwaram. Krishna bestows the divya chakshu to Arjuna. And empowered by the divya chakshu, Arjuna is able to pierce through Prakriti and able to see the ultimate reality. Is able to see Bhagavan's Aishwaram Rupam. And we have seen Arjuna immediately was speechless. The moment Krishna bestowed divya chakshu to Arjuna, for a while he was speechless. He could not open his mouth. Sanjaya takes over and on behalf of Arjuna starts to glorify the Vishwarupa. So the first description of Vishwarupa is given by Sanjaya. And once Sanjaya finishes his description, Arjuna takes over. Pashyami devams tavadeva dehe sarvams tatha bhuta visesha sankha brahmanamesham kamalasanastam shimscha sarvan muragamscha divya. So Arjuna wanted to see Bhagavan's Rupa and Swarupa. Now, how can Arjuna see Bhagavan's Swarupa, his Swarupa as the creator? If he needs to see Bhagavan as the creator, he needs to see creation also happening. He needs to see the process of creation. So Arjuna is presented as part of the Vishwarupa, the glorious process of creation. Pashyami devams thavadeva dehe sarvams tatha bhuta visesha sanghan brahmanamisham kamalasanastam. Narayanat Brahma Jayate, Narayanat Putro Jayate. The very process of how creation starts. Arjuna is able to see Brahma emanating from Narayana, Brahma seated on a lotus, emanating from Narayana, and Rudra emanating from Brahma. He is able to see the whole creation happening and he is glorifying what he is seeing. Brahmanamisham kamalasanastham pashyami devams tavadeva dehe sarvams tatha bhuta visesha sanghan. In one part of the Vishwarupa, he is able to see all the devas. In one small part of the Vishwarupa, he is able to see all the devas and he will be able to see Yashti Srishti happening, individual creation, right from Brahma, Rudra, all the devatas, all the rishis, rishimscha saravan uragamscha divyad. Aneka bahudara vaktranetram pashyami tvam sarvato nantarupam nantam namadhyam na punastavadim pashyami vishveshwara vishwarupa. Aneka bahudara vaktranetram pashyami tvam sarvato nantarupam. Anantarupa, infinite form. This infinite form is all encompassing. He is able to see Bhagavan's eyes everywhere. He's able to see Bhagavan's divine faces everywhere. He's able to see his divine stomachs everywhere, hands everywhere. Sahasra Sirsha Purusha, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapad. The Vedas declare innumerable number of hands, innumerable number of legs, innumerable number of stomachs, innumerable number of eyes. Looking everywhere, he's able to see Bhagavan all around, surrounding him. Like I said, it is like when a cell in a body all of a sudden gets a vision of the entire body. So this human body, if we need to kind of understand the experience of Arjuna, we can take this analogy of the human body. The human body, the walking, breathing human body comprises of 100 trillion cells. And every cell does 1 million things per second. Every cell does 1 million things. For a functioning, living, breathing human body, every cell of the 100 trillion cells need to operate doing 1 million things per second. And there is a mystery magic called this human body, which is being orchestrated to do all kinds of activities. And imagine one small tiny cell, one amongst the 100 trillion cells, all of a sudden has the vision of this entire body functioning. Arjuna is able to now experience that kind of a vision. Aneka bahodara vaktranetram pasyamitvam sarvato nantarupam nantam na madhyam na punastavadim. There is no end, there is no middle, there is no beginning, because it's infinite in nature. Pashyami Vishveshwara Vishwarupa. Hey Vishveshwara, now I understand how you are able to control the entire Vishwa. You are the controller. Now Arjuna is able to see. Until now, he only knew that Krishna is the controller. Now he is able to see how he is controlling, how he is sustaining and supporting, how this entire universe is an order, a divine order is able to see, and Bhagavan is sustaining this whole universe. Millions and trillions of parts all working in a divine order, in a mysterious order. He's able to see and experience such a vision. Pasyavi Vishveshwara Vishwarupa. Kiritinam Gadinam Chakrinam Cha. Tejorashim Sarvato Deeptimantam. Pasyavitvam Durniriksham Samanta. Deeptanalarka Dyutimapraveyam. But at the same time, this vision is so dazzling to his eyes. He's able to see a massive mass of splendor, glowing everywhere, resplendent in nature. The radiation that is like coming from hundreds and thousands of suns put together. That effulgence is immeasurable, indescribable. Arjuna says, I'm unable to measure this effulgence. But however, I'm able to identify the emblems of Bhagavan. Kiritinam, Gadinam, Chakrinam Cha. I'm able to know, even though it is a mass of splendor, light everywhere, very powerful illumination that is dazzling his eyes, Arjuna is able to see it is none other than the Parabrahman. The Parabrahman is the Paramapurusha. So this omnipresent form on the one hand is awe-inspiring, but at the same time, it also, the personal form is also at the same time invoking love towards that form. And he said, Kiritinam, Gadinam, Chakrinam, Tejorashim, Sarvato, Deeptimantam. Pasyamitvam, Durniriksham Samanta, Deeptanalarka, Dyutimapraveyam. Deepta Anala Arka Dyutimapraveyam. Anala Arka, fire and sun. Now when we put fire and sun together, the kind of effulgence, that is why he says immeasurable effulgence. Tomaksharam Paramam Veditavyam. He's looking at the form that he is experiencing. He says conclusively that Parabrahman described in the Shastras is the Paramapurusha who has now revealed this glorious form to me. Tomaksharam Paramam Veditavyam. Tvamasya Vishwasya Param Nidhan, Tvamavyaya Shashvata Dharma Gopta, Sanatanastvam Purushovato Me. Tvamaksharam, Aksharam, you are the imperishable seed. You are the imperishable seed of this entire universe. Tvamaksharam Paramam Veditavyam. Paramam Veditavyam. The only way to know you is through the Shastras. There is no other way. There is only one way to know Bhagavan. The Pramana, the means to know him. There are some things which we can know through Pratyaksha, some things we can know through Anumana, perception, inference, but there are things which you can only know through Shabda Pramana, through Shastras. Paramam Veditavyam. Paramam Veditavyam. The Upanishads talk about Paravidya, Aparavidya. Knowledge which is higher in nature, knowledge which is lower in nature. Mundane material knowledge is Aparavidya. Knowledge of reality is Paravidya. Paramam Veditavyam. You are the one who can only be known through Shastras, but how blessed I am, I'm able to now see you. Tvamaksharam Paramam Veditavyam. Tvamasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam. You are the very nidha, you are the very support of, I can see how you are supporting this whole universe, this whole Vishwa. Tvamasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam. Now earlier Krishna revealed Gatir Bharta Prabhusakshi Nivasa Sharanam Suhrut Pralaya Prabhavastanam Nidhanam Bijam Avyayam in the 9th chapter. Krishna there explained his nature. Now Arjuna is able to see what was explained before. Gatihi, Bhatta, Prabhu, Sakshihi, Nivasaha, Sharanam, Suhrut. The relationship between Krishna and every individual. He is the Gati. He is the goal. He is the Bhatta. He is not only the goal of all goals, he is the supporter who supports us in our journey towards the goal. Gatihi, Bhatta, Prabhu. He is the Lord who lords over, and it is his will which is responsible, which enables, orchestrates our journey towards the goal. Gatir Bharta Prabhu Sakshihi. He is the Sakshi witness who is always witnessing wherever we are throughout our journey towards the goal. Nivasaha. He is the Nivasa abode. He is not only the long-term goal. By abode, it means he is our goal now, the short-term, mid-term, and long-term. He is all goal of all goals. And the same relationship that the individual has with Krishna, the totality of this universe also has with him. Prabhavaha pralayasthanam nidhanam bijamavyayam. He is the cause and he is also the destination. Everything comes from him. Everything goes back to him. And he is nidhanam bijamavyayam. Here, Tvamaksharam Paramam Veditavyam Tvamasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam Tvamavyaya Shashvata Dharma Gopta Sanatanastvam Purusho Matomi. What Krishna explained, Arjuna is now able to see what Krishna explained. He is able to have a vision of his relationship with Krishna and the relationship of this universe with Krishna. Sanatanastvam Purusho Matomi. You are Sanatana Purusha. You are Dharma Gopta, Sanatana Dharma Gopta. You are the protector of Sanatana Dharma, eternal Dharma. The Dharma, all the laws that govern the working of this universe. The way this universe operates is miraculous. There are some mysterious laws that govern the workings of this universe. Dharma stands for all the laws that govern the workings of this universe and the protector of these laws. You are the protector of these laws. The way the universe works clearly shows that this design, the laws that govern this design, is protected by you constantly. Dharma Gopta. Sanatanastvam Purusho Matomi. You are that Sanatana Purusha, the eternal Purusha, the Purushottama. Now, as Arjuna is experiencing this glorious Vishwarupa and is seeing the various facets, there is also a transformation. There is also that Krishna is slowly changing what he is revealing to Arjuna. There is a transformation happening in the revelation. And as the revelation of the Vishwarupa is changing slowly, the response of Arjuna is also going to undergo a transformation. Initially, Arjuna was in a state of Vishmaya. amazement, astonishment. Slowly from Vishmaya, Arjuna is going to reach a state of bhaya, fear, anguish. The Vishwarupa, the nature of the Vishwarupa, what is being presented to Arjuna also will slowly change. Krishna is revealing a different facet of Vishwarupa that was not expected by Arjuna. Nabhasprisham deeptam anekavarnam yattaranam deepta vishalanetram Dishvahitvam pravyatitantaratma dhritimna vindami shamancha Vishnu. All of a sudden, Arjuna is seeing this form that is encompassing this entire universe. Nabhasprisham, he says. Nabha normally stands for the skies. So a direct translation is a form which is touching the skies. But here, the form is not just touching the skies. This is a cosmic form which is encompassing this entire material creation. Therefore, Nabha here is Sri Vaikuntha. The form is all encompassing the Leela Vibhuti, this created universe, and is touching the Nitya Vibhuti. Nabhasprisham deeptam aneka varnam. The multi-hued, dazzling form is spread all over this entire cosmos, reaching all the way up to Nitya Vibhuti. Nabhasprisham deeptam aneka varnam vyattananam deepta vishalanetram. This is where slowly Krishna is revealing a different facet of the Vishwarupa. Vyattananam. All of a sudden, Arjuna is seeing a widely open mouth, massive in size. Vyattananam. A mouth which is widely open. Vyattananam deepta vishalanetram. And deepta vishalanetram. Eyes which are blazing in nature. Reddish eyes blazing like flames. Deepta vishalanetram. Drishtva hitva pravyatitantaratma. Arjuna says, looking at this vision, my inner being is starting to tremble. Pravyatitantaratma dhritimna vindami shamancha Vishnu. Hey Vishnu, dhritimna vindami shamancha Vishnu. I can command neither courage nor peace. Arjuna is now starting to tremble in fear, because what now he is seeing is something which was not expected at all. Not only Arjuna, Krishna ensures that the Devatas also get a vision of this Vishwarupa, this ghastly form of the Vishwarupa. It seems everyone starts to tremble looking at this ghastly form. Vyattananam deepta vishalanetram. Shamancha Ritimna vindami shamancha Vishnu, he says. Damshra karalani chate mukani dishvaiva kalar alasannibhani. Dishona jane nalabhecha sharma prasida devesha jagannivasa. Prasida jagannivasa prasida. Damshra karalani chate mukhani. That the ghastly form, now he sees Damshra, the terrifying teeth. He's seeing not only a massive mouth which is wide open, is able to see terrifying teeth, and the form represents Kalanala Sannibhani, a fire which happens at the time of cosmic dissolution. Tamstra Karalani Chate Mukhani Drishtwaiva Kala Nalasannibhani, a massive, humongous ball of fire that is devouring everything. Everything is burning, it's consuming everything in its way. Kalanala Sannibhani, it's like dissolution happening, destruction and devastation all over. Arjuna did not expect to see this. It is like, imagine you're watching a very interesting high-tech movie on a large screen. You are amazed to see the visual imagery. High-tech imagery is awe-inspiring imagery, and you are having a great time. You're so exhilarated with the kind of graphics and imagery that is going on the screen. And then as the movie is going on, all of a sudden, you also see destruction happening. Huge ball of fire which is consuming buildings, streets, everywhere. Still, you're still enjoying, you're still amazed to look at it. slowly, as the scene by scene progresses, you see that that fire is now consuming the very city where you are living. Suddenly, you see it's not just consuming all the cities. Now suddenly you see the very city where you are, and then you see the very street that you are also is being consumed in fire, and your own house being consumed in fire. Till then, strangers were being swallowed and devoured and crushed, and all of a sudden you see your relatives also being crushed and devoured. What was awesome will turn out to be awful. Will start to tremble. This is exactly what has happened to Arjuna. All of a sudden, he is seeing something which was completely unexpected. Damshra karalani jatebukani distvaiva kala nalasannibhani. This kala nala, the fire, there are several messages here in this facet of Vishwarupa. Destruction and devastation being presented to Arjuna. Also, a message is being given. In our Vaidika Dharma, the cremation is done for two reasons. When the body, which the utility is over, when it is cremated, that cremation is a message of demonstrating the irreversible nature of matter. And it also a demonstration of brutality of death. At the same time, the crematory fire also becomes a gateway for the Atman to traverse into other realms of reality. So this fire that is being presented represents such kind of cremation to Arjuna. Not only that, Kurukshetra, the war of Kurukshetra, is also a yajna. There is a yajna happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Now Arjuna is being given a message. All those who have walked on the path of adharma and who have supported those who walked on the path of adharma are being offered as oblation into the fire of destruction. And the message to Arjuna is he has an opportunity to be a yajamana. He has an opportunity to be an yajamana to perform this yajna. Now, Arjuna is being presented with a very unique opportunity here. The opportunity to realize the ultimate truth, the ultimate reality. But Arjuna was not prepared. Arjuna was not prepared for this. It is not easy for anyone to be prepared to face reality, the ultimate reality. I often say this, using this analogy. There was this, there were two halls, two doors, and there was one in front of one door. There was a long queue, people trying to rush inside, and there was a very nice title there in front, a board kept, lecture on Vaikuntha, and hundreds and thousands of people wanted to get in. They were all queuing up to there was this other door next to it. Nobody was there in front. Nobody even wanted to approach that door. The board on top of it was welcome to Vaikuntha. It's not easy to prepare to face ultimate reality. Arjuna was presented with an opportunity to discover, to realize, and he was not ready, was not prepared. And therefore, he was stunned, shocked, and he was terrified. Samancha Vidimna Vindhavi, Samancha Vishnu. He says, hey Vishnu, I cannot command neither peace nor courage. Arjuna is trembling. And that is the reason why Arjuna looks at Krishna and says, Akhyahime Bhobhavan Ugra Rupaha. Namostute Devavara Prasida. Namostute, enough is enough. Please, I was expecting a Saumya Rupa, not this Ugra Rupa of you. Namostute Devavara Prasida. Be gracious. Now here, what is the reason for the Ugra Rupa of Bhagavan? Every manifestation of Bhagavan has a purpose. Now, as Krishna, he presents a very Saupya Rupa because the purpose is to reciprocate love. When the purpose is to reciprocate love, he manifests in Saumya Rupa. But when the purpose is to destroy those who are on the path of adharma, and also to warn those who support those who are walking on the path of adharma, he has to assume Ugra Rupa. So therefore, the form, the nature of the form depends on the purpose. And here, the Ugra Rupa, the purpose of Ugra Rupa is not only to destroy those who are adharmic, but also to reveal to Arjuna the fate of those who are on the path of adharma. Not only the fate of those who are on the path of adharma, the likes of Duryodhana, Dushasana, and Shakuni, also the fate of those who have supported them, the likes of Bhishma, Drona, and so therefore, Bhagavan presents that facet of Vishwarupa, which is Ugra Rupa. Akyahime ko bhavan Ugra Rupaha namostu te devavara prasida vigyatu vichhami bhavantamadhyam nahi prajanami tava pravrittim. So Arjuna once again submits. Be gracious, he Bhagavan. Immediately, Krishna gives the answer. Hey Krishna, Arjuna's question is, hey Krishna, who are you? Ko Bhavan. Akhyahime ko Bhavan. Back comes the reply, Kalosmi. Kalosmi lokakshaya krit pravrittaha lokan samahattu miha pravrittaha. Ritepi tvan navavishyanti sarve yevastita pratyanikeshu yodaha. Hey Arjuna, you ask me, who am I? I am Kala. Kalosmi lokakshaya krit pravrittaha. Lokan samahattu miha pravrittaha. I am Kala. I am Kala, the one who calculates the end, the time that takes to end one's life. The calculator of the lifespan of every entity. Kala, I've taken that manifestation, I've manifested as Kala, as time. Kalosmi lokakshaya krit pravrittaha. You see this massive form of mine, I assume this form in order to engage in lokakshaya, destroy those on this battlefield of Kurukshetra, destroy them, those who have been on the path of adharma. Lokakshaya krit pravrittaha. Ritepi tvam na bhavishyanti sarve. Na bhavishyanti. Ritepi here, rite api. Two ways to understand. Except you, without you. Hey Arjuna, except you, which means you and the Pandavas, everybody else on this battlefield are going to be slain, are going to be destroyed. Also, ritepi also can mean without you. Even without you, they are going to be destroyed. Except you, everyone else is going to be destroyed. Let me tell you, even without you, if you think it is you who is going to engage in their destruction, even without you, with or without you, they are going to be destroyed. Ritepi tvam na bhavishyanti sarve ye avastita pratyanikeshu yodaha. Ye avastita pratyanikeshu yodaha. All the warriors who have assembled on this battlefield, they're all going to perish. They're all going to perish. And as Kala, I'm revealing to you the fate of all these warriors. They're all going to be destroyed, with you or without you. Except you means Pandavas, everybody else, all the warriors here are going to be slain. This is a declaration. Now, a very, very important message that Krishna gives Arjuna through this manifestation of Kala. Kala Rupa, it is the purpose of Kala Rupa is not to terrify Arjuna. Very important to understand this. Arjuna got terrified, that's other different matter. But the purpose of Kala Rupa is not to terrify Arjuna. It is to solidify his determination. His determination to do his duty. His determination to serve Krishna's cause. That's the purpose of Kala Rupa. As Kala, time, we all know, keeps passing. It is irreversible. Time is irreversible. It is relentless. And therefore, we often do not want to be subject to the force of time, which keeps taking us towards decay, destruction, and death. Forget about being subject to the force of time. We don't even want to think about it. Because we cannot digest. We cannot digest what the force of time can do to us. But what is indigestible is inescapable. It is indigestible, no doubt, but it is inescapable. Then, when we realize that Kala is manifestation of Krishna, even the inescapable can become digestible. Not just digestible, even relishable. It is a fact that we cannot stop this body progressing towards decay, death, and destruction. It cannot be stopped. But we can stop our emotional entanglement to it. Our emotional entanglement to the body can be stopped. So therefore, the message here from Krishna manifesting himself as Kala is, it's a call. It's a call to Arjuna and to all. As long as one is immersed in worldliness, as long as one is entangled with the world, with the body and the bodily attachments, this march towards destruction, decay, and death, which is inescapable, this march is very indigestible. Inescapable, but indigestible. But the moment one rises above one's material entanglement, and when one attaches to Krishna, then this very march actually becomes digestible, because it is march away from the place of misery to a place where there is no misery. Then this very march will become relishable. Then the ticking of the clock, when the clock is ticking, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, the ticking of the clock is like Krishna's call. Krishna's call, calling us to move, journey away from sorrow to bliss, journey away from temporary to eternal, journey away from the world of matter to the spiritual world. Kalosmi lokakshayakrit pravrittaha lokan samahartumiha pravrittaha Ritepitvanna bhavishyanti sarve ye avastita pratyanikeshu yodaha. Tasmat pamuttishta. He says, Tasmat uttishta, hey Arjuna, uttishta yasholabhasva jitva shatrun bhungshu rajyam samaddham mayaivaite nihatah purvameva nimittamatram bhavasapyasachi. We all know this very, very popular slogan. If there is one phrase that we need to constantly keep reflecting on, contemplate on, is this phrase. Nimittamatram bhava. Arjuna's formula to Arjuna. It's an inspiring formula to do one's duty. Nimittamatram bhava savyasachin. Arjuna here is being addressed as Sabyasachi. Sabyasachi is one who can use both his hands, right and left, to shoot arrows. Interestingly, Krishna uses the nama Sabyasachi to Arjuna to say, hey Sabyasachi, if you think you are the shooter, the world thinks you are the foremost of all shooters who can shoot arrows with both your right hand and the left hand. If you think you are the shooter, the reality is you're only the arrow, not the shooter. I am the ultimate shooter. Hey, Sabyasachi, you may be Sabyasachi, but still you are only an arrow. I am the shooter. Thus, Uttishta, arise. Therefore, Arjuna, knowing this reality, the reality that was presented to you, Tasmat Uttishta Yasholabhasva, Jitva Shatrun Bhunksharajyam Samardham, fight, do your duty, and win fame, win glory, conquer your enemies, and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. Yasholabhasva, Jitva Shatrun Bhunksharajyam Samardham. Then comes the most important message to Arjuna. Mayaivayate nihatah purvameva. Arjuna, Mayaivayate nihatah purvameva nimittamatram bhava satyasachim. I have already done all the arrangements. All the arrangements that need to be taken care of are already taken care of. The arrangements that are required for the destruction of all the Kauravas, all those who are adharmic on this battlefield of Kurukshetra, have already taken care of all the arrangements. I alone, I myself, personally, I have, and directly, I am the one who personally and directly will engage in bringing an end to all those warriors who have been on the side of adharma on this battlefield. Therefore, nimittamatram bhava sabyasachi. Therefore, the message to Arjuna here is, all that you need to do here, Arjuna, is to just be my instrument. The call here to Arjuna is to become Bhagavan's, Krishna's instrument in carrying out his work. It is the realization, that is coming on to Arjuna, that he is nothing but a part belonging to a whole. A part that belongs to a whole has to only do work in service of the whole. The duty of the part is to serve the whole, and the welfare of the part is taken care of by the whole. So therefore, hey Arjuna, realizing that you are a part belonging to this whole, which is me, engage in doing your duty. Nimittamatram. Nimittamatram here is a formula given to Arjuna. Basically telling Arjuna, there is no conflict between your two identities. You know, all of us have two identities. A functional identity and a foundational identity. A functional identity is because of the body that we have and the roles that we have to play. We need that functional identity to operate in this world. No, I cannot walk into the office and say, I am the Atman to my fellow colleague. I have to introduce myself. I am so and so, this is my role. And I have to play that role. So, the functional identity is necessary, but the functional identity has to be aligned and harmonized with the foundational identity, the identity that I am the Atman, not the body. Therefore, here Nimittamatram is asking Arjuna to first understand his foundational identity as an Atman. His business is to serve the Paramatman. Every action that the Atman does using the body that is given is only for the purpose of pleasing the Paramatman, to serve the Paramatman. So therefore, every action has to be, when the functional identity, which is required to do all our roles, be it at home or in the society, in the office, that needs to be aligned with this foundational identity. Nimitta matram, therefore, is a formula given to Arjuna by Krishna. A formula that helps Arjuna to transform what we call the vicious cycle into a virtuous cycle and eventually exit the virtuous cycle as well. Now, what is this vicious cycle? What is this virtuous cycle? Vicious cycle is the cycle of avidya, kama, karma. Avidya, kama, karma. Karma, action. Every action that we do is driven by kama. When avidya drives kama, when ignorance drives our desires are all selfish bodily desires. And when our desires are bodily desires, we end up doing kamya karma, actions to fulfill for the sake of bodily gratification alone. And this is a vicious cycle. Avidya, kama, karma, karma adding again to avidya, the cycle goes on and on. Vicious cycle of samsara. So this vicious cycle of samsara can be transformed into a virtuous cycle. When avidya is transformed, when avidya is conquered by vidya, by jnana, when jnana, atma jnana drives kama, it becomes nishkama. And nishkama results in nishkama karma. Now, jnana driving kama results in nishkama karma. Now, this jnana, when it blossoms, this atma jnana, when it blossoms into Bhagavad jnana then results in not ordinary kama, not Vishaya kama, Bhagavad kama. And this Bhagavad kama then results in not just nishkama karma, but as kainkarya. And through this, from the vicious cycle, by performing kainkarya, then when work becomes worship, when every action becomes consecrated, then we are no longer in a cycle, we get an exit path out of the cycle. Nimitta matram is about transforming avidya, conquering avidya with not only atma jnana that blossoms into Bhagavad jnana. When atma jnana blossoms into Bhagavad jnana, Vishaya kama blossoms into atma kama and eventually into Bhagavad kama. Karma transforms into nishkama karma and eventually into kainkarya. And when we perform every action as kainkarya to Bhagavan, we get to find the exit path out of the cycle. Nimitta matram bhava is enabling us to transform the vicious cycle we are caught, we are trapped in, into a virtuous cycle and eventually find that exit path, that highway that can take us all the way to this lotus feet. Thus Krishna gives a very powerful message to Arjuna. Hey Arjuna, nimitta matram bhava. Tasmat pamutishta yashola bhasva jitva shatrun bhungshva rajyam samritam mayevete dehatah purvameva nimitta matram bhava satyasachin. Let us continue to contemplate on the Kala Rupa, which is not meant to terrify us, but to inspire us, to look at the world, look at the devastation, the destruction that is inherent in the world of matter as a pointer to the everlasting spiritual world which is awaiting us, and contemplate and reflect on that formula presented to Arjuna by Krishna to do his duty, an inspired duty that leads, that transforms every action from karma to kainkarya. Nimitta matram bhava satyasachin. Sarvam Sri Krishna.